Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I am your host, GameChanger. So recently, the question came up on why I don't do videos or why I don't schedule my videos like far in advance, like most YouTubers. And it does work. It does help with the algorithm. It gives people time to prepare to watch a show. And the short reason for that, I'm going to let y'all know, is because my videos are highly reactive. It's highly fresh. And that's just my personality. I see something and I want to talk about it right then and there. You know, a mechanic pissed me off. I'm on the phone calling somebody like, hey, this dude tried to get over on me. You know, I'm just that type of dude. It's just my personality type. So back when I used to do it, when I used to wait a bit to talk to people, or excuse me, to, let the algorithm have time, like wait 24 hours, let the people have time to view that the show is coming up and set their schedules and things like that. A day later, I done already lost the fire. I done already lost, like half of the passion. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give y'all the fresh. I'm gonna give y'all the new. And if you didn't, if you wasn't sitting by your phone or by your computer at the time and I just started randomly, then catch a replay. Because it just record the freshness and the newness of it. So I'd like to thank everybody for participating. And right off the bat. All right. So let me bring up the Matrix. All right. So greatly appreciate that. Let me get you in here. I got some work I got to do on this background Matrix thing I got going on. But right now I could put you in there and put you in for 10. All right, red. All right, so he says salute to you. Greatly appreciate you, brother. Starting this morning off right. Starting this Saturday morning off right. Greatly appreciate you. All right, so dang, why did it stop? Ah, crap, that's why I stopped. Okay. All right, I'm going to have to do that again. Let me just stop this and reboot the... See, I told you it needed work. But anyway, greatly appreciate you, brother. So, came across this dude on my feed, never seen him before. I'm like, okay, let's see what the brother's talking about. And what he was talking about was, it's a 20-minute video. I watched like 5 minutes of it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch the rest with y'all because, listen, he's on some other stuff. Okay, so there's a belief out there that men are supposed to provide or protect. So if a woman were to deceive you in or misuse your desire to provide and protect, then everything is okay after that because you're just doing what you want to do. It doesn't really work that way. By that logic, by that justification, I could see a person graping a person and saying that it's a woman's biological design to procreate. That is ridiculous. You are taking from someone just because they have an altruistic nature doesn't mean that you should be taking advantage of them. That's sick. It's sick that the women think that way, and it's sick that they have convinced some, I'm going to call it feeble-minded men to feel this way. I'm not talking about the children. I'm talking about the men. But we're definitely going to get into that. In the meantime, I'm going to need y'all to hit that like button while I do the short of the day. All right, so... Oh, man, everything is everywhere right now. All right, so... Here we go. All right, thought this one was funny, and I wanted to share it with y'all.
Yes, sir. All right, send it. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Yes. Sometimes I wish I had a twin. I wonder, do twins play rock, paper, scissors and always tie? It's stuff like that. But yeah, I thought that this one was funny, and it's a good way to start off the show. All right, so let's get it cracking. Let's get it cracking. Before that, let me just say what's up to Red Pill Sleeper Cell. Salute to you. And oh, you're a channel member. Are you a channel member, or what? Ike channel members or what? Jalen says, "What's up, everybody?" Dark Omancer, appreciate you. You said audio sounds rough. Okay, I'll work on that. You're talking about just in general, or when I played the short of the day? All right, Kinsing Red, appreciate you. Okay, so okay, I got you. Okay, this video is entitled "Men Over 40 Struggle with Love and Relationship, Gender War." Let's take a listen.
Into a lot of I won't say you. Ooh. I have been running into a lot of emotionally unavailable men because.
Okay. Don't value the words of women who look like this. It's not really as value. Well, it has some value, and I'm going to tell you what that is. But it doesn't have the right amount of value. I don't really care as much about how you think or feel because you look like this. I'm more concerned about what's going on in an attractive woman's mind than your mind. And that's why shows like Fresh and Fit is a lot more popular. It's a very popular show because people want to know what's on an attractive woman's mind. Apparently, it's really not much there, but still people want to know.
They have been in a relationship, or they have been married, or they've already lived that life, and over 40, they're like, I'm good. I've already been there, done that, been hurt. And so now I just kind of want to chill.
Yeah.
You know?
Makes sense.
You actually, I have a question for you. You can answer this for me. I've read this, or somebody told me this, that a man has, I don't know what you're going to say. A man gets one good love of his life, or a man will only open up to one woman in his life. And once a man gets hurt, that's it. Is that true? Because
No, it's stupid talk, and you're fat. It's stupid talk, and you're overweight. It's just stupid talk. Listen, men go through a lot more rejection and in and out of relationships than women do. Let's be clear. And by that, I mean to no fault of their own. Women are more prone to divorce, and they're more prone to break up, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This whole notion that, she imprinted on me and I can't love again, that is crap. That's projection.
Getting older and dating, it appears to be true. Like a man is like, look, I did this. Okay.
Welcome back to the channel. You see the information on the screen, so you know what I'm about. So let's get into it. All right, so this is Scary to Remarry. All right, and I found
he got a Donovan Sharp
recently. I've been
beard.
Reaching out to him, trying to see if I can get him to come on. this channel, because, you know, this is evidently his channel, but this lady, I'm not sure exactly who she is. I think he has a direct line to her, Dr. Lane Javette. I think that is
Oh my God, she's a doctor.
who she is. But yeah, I think this is interesting. I definitely want to start this one off basically saying every person, both men and women, can go through pain. And again, I don't think we give men enough credit to say that they're going through pain, right? And I know for me in my divorce, it took me about definitely at least 3 years before I would even halfway say that I was healed, right? Definitely within the first 2 years, it was a big fat no. And somewhere between year two and year three, I would basically say I felt like I was strong enough, you know, to continue and to move on into.
Okay. Right off the bat, what we see here is a problem in processing grief. It's a problem in processing grief. I mean, it's one thing to be upset about something, but then you have to have resolve when you are upset about that thing. And for a man, that should come near instantly. You know, you don't have time to mope. You don't have time to, you know, you don't have time to mope. You don't have time to grieve. You don't have time to feel sorry for yourself, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, understand that the situation that happened at hand is unfortunate. But sitting there, for 3 years, like, oh, singing, just another sad love song breaking my heart, blah, blah, blah. That you don't have time for that crap. We're not built like that. Like somebody punch you in the face, you don't have time to feel it. You don't have time to just like lie down and say, oh, I got punched in the face, because that's when the second punch come and the third punch come. Like the more time you spend by the shock of getting punched in the face, the more punches to the face you're gonna take. It's gotta be, oh, I got punched in the face, man, that hurt. And all right, let's get them up. Let's get these hands up. It's gotta be immediate, or else you're gonna suffer further consequences.
To ask you to be in that healthy place. Now, that being said, I do think every man is different because it's going to be how he sees everything. See, I was trained, okay, to be a protector provider.
Trained by whom?
So for me, a woman coming in and needing money to exist after the divorce and different things like that, that doesn't hurt my feelings. That doesn't bother me. Okay.
It's not a matter of your feelings. You are a man who is meant to protect and provide. The more provisions you give her, the fewer provisions you have for an actual worthy woman, an actual adequate woman. Now, if you was trained to protect and provide, what was she trained to do? She was trained to take all your money. You see, the beautiful thing about being human is that you don't have to do stuff simply because you're trained to do it. Like you see a shepherd and he has the sheep and he has that big cane with that's round at the top. Now they can't help it. Nothing you can do will stop them from following you around, even to a slaughterhouse, because you have a big stick. They see that stick and they're like, oh, I am just compelled to walk in that direction. They cannot help it because they're not human. Same thing with cows. They will follow you into a slaughterhouse because you said, yeah. Like they see the cow before them get slaughtered. It's like, well, he did say, yeah. And there you go. We're humans. We have the ability to step out and assess the situation and determine, is this the best thing to do? You're more than just your training. Some of us are. Hit the like button.
I was more upset with the world telling me, as a young person, like I say, in middle school, telling me that my wife was going to have my back. that she was going to have my financial back. I should say it that way. And I found that, talking to a lot of my friends, most of them are still married. Well over 90% of them are still married. That was actually the biggest thing for them as well. Not understanding that really a lot of women were going through that same process, but when they got older, a lot of women either fell away from high earning jobs, or they wanted to stay at home, or they just wanted to be moms, or whatever it was. So
That's true. That's true. Women do lose high earning jobs all the time, more frequently than men, because office jobs, they come and go, believe it or not. This whole notion that they'll work there for the next 30 years. Every now and again, they'll get like a good job in, say, human resources department, but companies come and go regularly nowadays. Long are the days that, the same label that you see, these household brands and stuff, stick around forever.
Whole Cosby Show-esque life of two heavy duty people going in with high earning jobs and living like this, it just did not materialize, for a lot of people. But see, I don't blame my ex-wife for that. I blame society for that. I blame the government believing that they knew better than what was going on.
Both could be wrong. You can blame both. Listen, no matter what, she did divorce you for nefarious reasons. She did say it is in my best interest to divorce her. She was conditioned to behave in her own best interest, really in society's best interest, but that's a whole nother thing. But she was programmed to behave that way, and she did. You see, your program taught you to do the right thing. You know that she can be taught to do the wrong thing. And that's that. Like that kid that did that horrible thing in that church in North Carolina. He was poorly guided. However, he does have some agency. And that's why he's in jail and society isn't.
Going traditionally. And what we see now is more and more people saying we need to go back to traditional values, even though the school system continues to teach the way it wants to. So again, I'm always talking about putting blame where blame should be. So for me, there's no blame on my ex-wife when it comes to anything of that nature. There's no blame in my ex-wife because she never cheated on me or anything like that. There's no blame and hurt and pain in a lot of places where a lot of men might have it. But no matter what the situation is, again, we have to think about, okay, all of what has happened. Like, for instance, I told you all before, I have a lot of friends, and several of my friends, have told me about situations where their wives may have cheated, may have not have cheated. Some of them know, some of them don't know. And, and I'll be honest, I got on them a little bit and I was like, well, are you keeping the bedroom spicy? And, I know one of them.
That's not your friend. That is not your friend. Anybody who comes at you with some crap like that is not your friend. Like, oh man, I found my wife cheating on me. Well, did you keep the bedroom spicy? Shut the hell up. Let me tell you something. Ass clown. Human society has just like 100 years ago discovered the clitoris. We spent about like 55,000 years not giving a crap about it. And society moved along just fine. Marriages moved along just fine. They moved along better than they are now. And you're a divorced person. It's like, yeah, maybe women feel pleasure from this. I really don't give a damn. Was the sentiment of all of humanity. There wasn't a culture that knew, like, ooh, women got pleasure from this too. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. Why? Because babies are born if and only if my penis is properly stimulated. Just like that song say, what's it called? You don't come, I ain't gonna die. I'll fill your space and forget your face. I swear I will. That's real talk. I used to live by that song. I am not, what? Who talks like that? And do you think the women are saying that? Do you think the women, when their man is caught cheating, do you think other women say, well, did you keep it spicy in the bedroom? Shut the hell up. I don't like bald people. That was just dumb. That was just dumb. Now, he talked about his own divorce and how he was like cuddled in a fetal position for 3 years. This dude has just went through something traumatic and he confides in you as a friend. And then what you said, did you keep it spicy? Shut the hell up. No, I didn't keep it spicy because I have a penis. It is not my job. What the hell? Is there a such thing as men lingerie? Keep it spicy. If you don't shut your bald-headed ass up, man, you stupid. You stupid. They don't even have lingerie for men. What are you talking about? I don't even know how to spice it up. That's crap. That's crap. What am I going to put on a maid uniform? That's crap. Am I going to dress like a butler? That's crap. It ain't nothing a man could do to spice it up. Why? Because it's a penis. It's supposed to be nasty. Like what? How's a man supposed to spice it up? But you see, the problem with guys like this is that they default. They default into what did the man do wrong? Because as I said in previous videos, men are hyper accountable, women are unaccountable. This man did nothing wrong. This man's wife was a cheating bitch. Hit the like button.
As soon as I told him about it, he was like, man, nah, man, I don't do that, man. I don't want to be bothered with that, man. That's too much work. I mean, he literally told me this. Dude was like,
and he was right. It is too much work. Listen, I have far grown beyond this phase of life where I try to figure out that Rubik's Cube that they got between their legs with my penis. That is something that I just simply, don't care about anymore. If I just so happens to be working down there and it's enjoyable for her, then hey, you got lucky. You got lucky. I am not trying to figure these. Man, you waste your time. You could have learned calculus, but instead you down there trying to figure out the ever changing, enigma that is a box. Forget that. Forget that crap. But that's just me though. I don't care. People say I got trash D all the time. I do not care. Like the song say, you don't come, I ain't gonna die.
newly married too. I mean, probably had only been married about 4 or 5 years. And, and I was telling him this, and I'm like thinking in my mind, like, dude, if you don't take care of her, somebody might.
This dude.
I ain't saying they will, but somebody might.
And that's okay with him. By the way, 20 seconds from here is where I stopped listening. I started to set the video up, and he's okay with that. Basically, what he's saying is, if she cheats, it's your fault. If you cheat, it's your fault, and if she cheats, it's her fault. Or excuse me, if she cheats, it's your fault. He is fostering this environment.
And see, again, this is not where people are taking the blame upon themselves, not saying, okay, am I doing everything I need to do? And so for me, that's always step one, because when you're starting to blame, because I found people that do that they've made every mistake in the world every mistake.
He made no
But
mistake.
then they will blame the other person
It is the other
by
person.
saying, well, you didn't do this.
If the other person is cheating and it's a woman, it's her fault.
This for me. So basically, this is to say that person A, it could be male or female, hasn't done 9 out of the 10 things that person B asked them to do, but person A is mad at person B because they didn't do one thing.
You are an idiot. This is not a matter of one to many or anything like that, because there's different severities. Well, you didn't take out the trash, so I sucked somebody else's penis. What the hell? I'm sorry, I asked you to take out the trash, I asked you to fold your laundry, I asked you to vacuum the living room, I asked you to pull the weeds out the back, I asked you to wash the car, I asked you to call the repairman, and since you didn't do those things, I decided to suck some penis. Why are you mad at one thing? What the hell is wrong? This is what they want for all of us. Remember Magneto on X-Men Unite? And they took his powers. They could just completely castrated him. And then he turned to Jean and he said, this is what they want for all of us. This is what they want for this man right. This is what they want for all of you. I don't even know if he remarried. I truly doubt that he remarried. Trying to teach other people how to get married. Like I'm pretty sure that that's the case. He is just fuel for the gynocracy. They're going to snatch his pockets one more good time. One more again, they're gonna snatch his pockets. And then he's going to have that look on his face, that look that he has right now, that slightly crooked mouth that he has. Like he's going to suffer again.
Out of the 10 things that they asked them to do. And this is, like I said, you gotta get healthy people in the.
And don't ask me to do crap. It's not your place to ask me to do crap.
First place, non-selfish people in the first place. So I kind of have to start there, before I can go any deeper, because I think for men and women that are watching this particular video, a lot of the men that I run into that are healthy, and we talked about this, we're generally talking about.
See that? No ring. No ring. Up here talking crap. Up here talking crap. Well, maybe you didn't put it down in the bedroom. Let's get you married. Yeah, after you.
Mental and spiritual energy and the ability to love again. I don't find that those men are blaming the exes at all. I find that those men have gotten over that. And they've recognized where they made mistakes, and they recognize where the other person made mistakes. But then they're saying, okay, yeah, I recognize more and more every day that I did a lot, and I made a lot of mistakes in that. So that's part one of this. Part two of this is, again, I don't think the average 40-year-old man struggles with love. I just don't. But that does not necessarily mean he wants to go down that path again. Because I think that a lot of women have to understand, and this is why I'm always talking about Christianity. I've never understood, and I'll continue to stay on this hill, and I'll die on this hill, as people say. But I've just never seen a situation where, like for me, I just have to speak for myself. If I wasn't a Christian, or if I was what they call a super lukewarm Christian, where I really just don't care.
Where in the Bible does it say if a woman cheat, it's because you wasn't putting it down right? What part of the Bible talk like that? What part of the Bible talk like that? Like don't they stone chicks and stuff for crap like that for committing adultery? But because you are afraid of women, let's just keep it a buck. You've been conditioned to be afraid of women. You're not going to throw that stone. Instead, you throw it at a man.
Care. I'm calling myself a Christian, but I really don't go to church. I really don't care about God. I'm not really worried about any of these things. That I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't get married. I wouldn't get married, especially if I had kids. I'd be like, why get married? It'd be easier for me to just
Yeah, there's a
get
point
in
there.
little relationships, hang out with women 5, 6, 7 years or whatever, or maybe just at 6 years and jump the boat.
Yeah, there's a point there. Many men in their 40s have kids that are near becoming adult or adult kids, and there's like, I don't want to have kids again. I don't want to start a family again. So what's the point? What's the point of marriage at this stage in my life? And because, yeah, quite frankly, the only reason to get married is to have kids. Now, the woman in the beginning, she don't understand that. She thinks that, oh no, they're just not emotionally available, because really emotion is the only thing that she can appeal to. She can't appeal to a man's penis because she looks like trash. She looks like fat trash. So she can't really appeal to a man's lust. So she wants to bond with him on some Ralph Tresvant stuff. I need a man with sense. She just wants to sit down and cry with somebody. She wants to be a shoulder that a man cries on, because that's all she has is a shoulder. She don't have a vagina. That women don't have vaginas. They just have pressed together thighs. She don't have anything but a shoulder to cry on, and she's wondering why a bunch of grown men aren't looking to cry on her fat shoulder. That's what's really going on. Hit the like button.
Don't want no common law marriage, and just do that. And maybe at 65, like a lot of these men are doing, try to hurry up and grab a woman, to have a woman to take care of me in my, my later years. But beyond that, it's like, why in the world would I get married? What's the benefit? And see, I think that a lot of women are not looking at it from that perspective. You have to look at it from the perspective of what is the benefit for the man.
This is true.
But when you're dealing with a man that's Christian, and he's truly Christian, so this is a man who's reading the Bible. This is a man that's going to church. This is a man who listens at least to a little bit of gospel music. Maybe he's not perfect, but he listens to a little bit of gospel music. This is a man who is truly concerned about God's eye, looking down on him. That man is not going to sin forever.
And that's what church is full of. Church is full of the same opportunistic thoughts that you see, everywhere else on Instagram, looking for a guy who is looking to get married, because they understand that his only motivation is a religious one. So I'm going to find a guy who is devout. If I see a guy there, with water in his eyes, looking at the Bible, nodding his head like, I know that he's ripe for the picking. What part of the Bible told your wife to divorce you? She is a Babylonian tramp, and you are defending her. You see, the rules of the Bible is for the men and men alone. It's not for the women. They're not following the rules, and they're not held accountable by you or the rest of society.
He's just not going to do it. His conscience is going to get to him. And the Holy Spirit is going to be constantly talking to him, even if he doesn't want to listen to the Holy Spirit. So that man will marry. He's going to marry because he's just not going to feel comfortable not marrying.
And he's going to get divorced. And this process is going to continue. So you can't have holy dealings with unholy people. That doesn't work. That's a recipe for disaster. You can't mix certain people. Let me tell you something. I'll never forget this story. I'll never forget. This is something that's burned in my head forever. And I swore if I ever got locked up, I would go straight for this person. like over just people I don't like, over the pedos, over the Nazis, over everybody. I would go straight to this person and give him these hands. So years ago, it was a guy who, for whatever strange reason, whatever sickness is going on through his brain, sprayed an Amish school. So a bunch of Amish kids caught some lead. And for a very long time, I've known about the Amish, even though we don't have them here in California. I've known about the Amish, and I've always had a great respect for them and their lifestyle, and their religion and their culture. I've always did that. And for those of you who don't know, they're a group of people who don't really believe in technology past a certain point, and that point is about 1850, America. And they also don't believe in violence, meaning that you punch them, they won't punch you back. And there's a couple other things that go along with that, but that's the gist of their culture, as it pertains to outsiders. And so for him to do that, you just did like a truly aggressive thing on a group of people that don't believe in such behavior. So there isn't like a retaliation for that. In fact, they got a collection going because they make money. They make money through their farms and stuff. And if you look at like Quaker oatmeal, like stuff like that, but they got a fund together and gave money to the family of the person who sprayed the school, because that's the type of people they are. So my point is that you can't have unholy people dealing with holy people. Somebody is the holy people is going to suffer in those instances. I repeat, when you have unholy people and you mix them with holy people, the holy people will be the ones that suffer in those instances. And that's why so many of these holy rollers are getting divorced and getting taken care of. And you say, I don't mind taking care of my ex-wife. That's why you find yourself in those situations. And that's why churches are full of women, because they're women looking for men to take advantage of. And the men aren't going there because they know it's full of women looking for men to take advantage of. They have your whole playbook and they don't even play by the rules. The rules clearly state, death do us part. You're not playing by the rules, but you know that I play by the rules.
And see, that's one of the main, again, like I said, these so many things, like I said, that I definitely don't understand how people come up with the logic that they do. I've dated women who are lukewarm Christians, straight up lukewarm Christians. And even when I listen to their struggle out here, most of them, like I say, is very much like lukewarm men. They will get in relationships. They shack up with the person, i.e. live with the person, so they're cohabitating, whatever word you want to use. So they're living like husband and wife, but they're not married. They'll do that 3 and 4 or 5 years. Then they split up and then they get with somebody else. Or the women will be loose in the streets. And so now they have these huge body counts, 15, 20, 30, 50 men, that they've had. And I've dated women that literally, I know they were having 2 and 3 boyfriends in a year. And I know doggone well that they were, doing whatever they was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I run into those women as well. And then you'll run into a Christian woman who might be 40. She might be divorced. And that's why I'm always saying every single.
Then she's not a Christian woman. Why is she divorced? She don't have this, fear of the Holy Spirit that you referred to. She didn't follow her vows that she made before God himself. But she's a Christian woman. Okay.
Single mother is not the same every 40-year-old woman is not the same. And, this 40-year-old woman might have only been with two men her entire life sexually. And it's because she, was married. Then she got a divorce, and then she tried one relationship, and she decided, okay, well, I'm going to try the sex thing and everything. It didn't work. And so now she's basically saying, okay, well, I want to be abstinent until I'm married, or at least until I'm engaged. And you look at that abstinence, and this is, something for the women out there. He looks at that woman totally different than the woman out here that's talking about she wants to be abstinent, but she's basically had.
I don't look at her as different. I don't look at her as different at all. To me, I don't see a moral difference between a woman who decided to divorce somebody that she swore before God, to stay married to. I don't see her any different than a street thought. I don't see one being more morally depraved than another. I don't. And as far as used for JJ, I mean, it's they're both just as used. A woman who sleeps with 100 guys is just as used as a woman who sleeps with one guy 100 times. I repeat, a woman who sleeps with 100 guys one time is just as used as a woman who slept with one guy 100 times. It really is. Now, someone would say that the woman who slept with one guy 100 times have a greater sense of commitment and fidelity, but then there's the divorce. Now, isn't there? You see, if I'm buying a car and somebody was to say, I only drive this car to church and back, and then you look and it got 300,000 miles on it, I'm like, oh, you go to church a lot. Like, it really don't matter where the miles came from, or if the miles came from like a whole bunch of diverse places. To me, just like, okay, it's 300,000 miles. It's not a fresh new automobile.
Two men every year of her life since she was 18. Okay, these are two totally different abstinences, and these are two totally different mindsets, right? And so again,
this man lives in some ridiculous world where women have where thoughts only get with two men a year. That's a Halloween weekend, brother.
From a man's perspective, to this lady's point, okay, you have to look at what is the man looking for. Now, what she's saying is that he's struggling with love. But I don't know if they're necessarily saying they're struggling with love. I don't know if that's, like I say, just something to get people to look at the video. But there's a huge difference between a man and his ability to love a woman, or his desire to love a woman, and his ability and or desire to be in a marriage. These are two totally different things.
Agreed.
And also a lot of men that have done what they need to do. Okay. And again, I have to be real about this. A lot of men that, like I say, they've done what they need to do. At 40 years old, they might not be dating, necessarily a 40-year-old woman, which again is one of the issues that we have out here.
Okay, I agree with this, brother.
A lot of men, they've done what they need to do. They've got a little money. They might date a woman 10 years younger, even 15 years younger.
Agreed.
And, again, a lot of women might say, well, those women, those younger women are trying to take advantage. But in reality,
the only women who would say that are the women who were trying to take advantage when they were younger. I'm going to repeat that. The only women who would say that is the women who were trying to take advantage when they were younger. Which means that they told on themselves, which means that they admit, Ronald Calhoun, that they are trash. They're still trash. They're just old trash right now. So question is, did that so-called good woman file for a divorce, or did the man? Either way, it's bad. Because we're talking about good Christian men. So either she filed a divorce on a good Christian man, or a good Christian man seen fit to file divorce on her. There's no other way around it. Like, yeah, if she married Future and she didn't know he had a Future personality or some crap like that, that's one thing. But that's not the scenario that he's talking about.
Again, if you understand how men look at it, we don't look at it the same way that women do. And again, that's an argument that could be made in a really great discussion if I could find, some women that want to talk about it. But again, I think that's something that's a little bit different. So
why don't you talk about it with your wife? You're trying to get everybody else married.
So to this lady's point, I don't think that men over 40 struggle with love if they're healthy. If they're healthy, they've dealt with the pain, of a divorce or.
Okay, it's not a matter of struggling with love. It's a matter of having a different perception. Like when you're young, you act before you speak, and you act more on raw emotions. That's why we send people like that to war. That's why there is a cutoff. There is a cutoff point. I think that you can't even join the military like after 35, because they're like, I am not going to convince a 36-year-old man to jump out of a plane with a parachute. Like, so it was a white dude. He wasn't my roommate, but he stayed at the apartment across from mine, right? And he eventually joined the military, and he was always into like military movies. One in particular was Saving Private Ryan, and I was watching it with him. It was funny because this dude, he'd come to my house and watch hood movies, watch like movies that other people our age, black people our age, have seen, but he never seen it because he's a white dude, and he grew up white. So I watched Saving Private Ryan with him, and I watched as everybody else in the war was deleted, but he only seen Ryan. He only seen Matt Damon's character Ryan. He's like, okay, he lived. I'm like, yeah, but did you do like a mental tabulation? Did you stop and think like, hey, everybody else got that lead. Everybody else got that lead. I know you're focused on Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, Vin Diesel. Well, Vin Diesel got the leg too, so did Tom Hanks. But I know that you're focused on the main characters. Let's not look at it like that, because everybody think that they are the main characters of their lives, meaning that they'll be the one that survives the end. But when you're older, you really start to think of it, and you start to realize that you're not a main character in the world's eye, and you really get a different outlook. So this whole, I'm going to act on raw emotions, and and I'm going to do what that seed tell me to do. You're past that stage in life, and you start looking at things more practically. And marriage isn't practical.
Or of a traumatic relationship, I don't really think they struggle with love. In fact, I would say that they're doing much better than a lot of their female equivalents. Not to say that these women cannot get married, not to say that they can't find their person, because I'm always saying everybody can find their person if they get out, and then that they do what they need to do. In fact, like I think I've told you all before, there was a lady right at the beginning, right before I even had this channel, and I was watching her channel. And I think at the time she might have been 42, 43 years old. And she had a daughter, okay, an older daughter, maybe about 16 or 17 years old. And she talked about her journey towards femininity.
Oh my gosh.
And it was through that journey of femininity.
Taking a journey towards femininity at 40 is like learning to read at 40. Like you haven't gotten the basics down. It's, I mean, and not saying that if you're 40 you shouldn't learn to read, but it is to say that it'll be a long time before you are a doctor if you're just now covering the basics. And the sad thing is she's a mother of a 16, 17-year-old. So, which means that she hasn't even started that journey for her daughter. Her daughter didn't begin that journey because she hasn't, she's an unfeminine woman. She just now starting her journey towards femininity. So she has been an unfeminine woman, and therefore she couldn't even teach principles of femininity to her daughter.
Femininity that she found her man. And I think, like I said, in the 1 year I was watching her off and on, she ended up getting engaged. So hopefully she's married. Like I said, I never watched her,
No, she's engaged because dudes are thirsty. That's what they do. They listen. I've seen it happen so many times before, particularly with guys that I suspect are incels. But okay, this is an unfortunate truth of life. And some of you guys may know guys like this, and some of you guys may be like this. And then, it's not necessarily your fault. What they're doing is they're setting certain groups of men aside. Like if you buy a banana, some bananas you may eat immediately, but some you wait. You buy them green, but you want them yellow. Some of them you wait until they yellow a bit. Some guys are being what I call preserved. And they're like, okay, I see him in his 20s. I see him in his 30s. If he waits, by the time he's 40, he's going to be so desperate, he will take any deal, any piece of box that's available to him. And at that point, I will make myself available to him. I've seen this happen twice in my life. And I felt sorry for both of the dudes. And both of the stories always consisted of some crap. It always consisted of the woman hitting on the guy in a very basic way. And the guy think that it's the most interesting like pickup line he's ever heard before or some crap like that. Like, oh, it was just the funniest thing ever. And I was sitting there like, that is not funny at all. Like that's not. It seems like this is the first time you ever got hit on. And it's interesting to you because it's new. And if you're 40 and you didn't really go through a player phase or anything like that, and she really just came out of nowhere and changed your life, and you didn't even have time to discern. You didn't have time to like measure her waist and stuff like that. It's nothing. I mean, okay, basically you never been hit on. Because like One D Forever said, they wait you out. You've been waited out. You have been waited out. And they see you. They sense it on you. Why? Because they marked you. They marked you when you were 20 for waiting. Just like some oranges are marked for orange juice and some oranges are marked for oranges to be sold as oranges. Or better yet, some cows are marked for milk and some cows are marked for steak. And you that cow that was marked for steak. You that cow that thinks everything is cool and think that the cows that got to go to that milk machine every day, you're like, ha, 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 ha. And then you are about to get slaughtered. I've seen that happen so many times. Like, I'm not saying it happens all the time, but there isn't a pickup line a woman can use on me that will get me to ignore what she's offering me or lack thereof. There isn't a pickup line. I'll give you an example, right? I'll give you all an example. Hit the like button. So I used to work off of, and this is for the people from the Bay. I used to take the BART to work, and I got off at the Dublin Pleasanton BART station. Near the Dublin Pleasanton BART station is Santa Rita Jail. And it's a man and woman facility there. So one day, I'm getting off, minding my own business as a very young man, and a woman, looked at me and she said, "You're so cute, and I haven't been with a man in so long." Now that's a nice pickup line, especially really it's a pickup line that comes off of that you would expect to see on some of those triple X movies, right? But fact of the matter is that she was not hot, like not by a long shot. She wasn't. And it could be that she just got out, and there was no reason to make herself up for the other women there. I don't know, and I don't care. She was not up to snuff. But guys like this, the ones that he's describing, once they receive an opportunity, like I'm telling you, to guys, who have been waited out, that would be the opportunity of a lifetime. And then all kind of crazy crap goes through their head, like, oh, I could clean her up, I could turn her to a good Christian one, and blah, 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 blah. That's what happens when guys are waited out for over 20 years. And they know that. That's why they're deliberately trying to implement this crap.
Too much after the engagement point. But I would believe, she would probably be able to marry the guy, and the guy was much higher level than she ever would have thought, because she basically never really thought she was attractive. And she also talked about the fact that her man had money. He had money.
I forgot about that dude. Y'all right. Boyce Watkins. Hit that like button. Exactly. He is the perfect example of some crap like that. And then when they tell the story to regular people of how they met, the story makes them look like a bumbling simp, and they don't even know it. They don't even know it. And yes, it does. It does consist of, because by 40s, many guys are going to, if they haven't started already, at least start to get into, their financial peak. So they're taking all this into account. That's, you've been waited out, and they're like, okay, now that you are at your financial peak, now that you're at your financial best, I'm going to give you my physical worst. Now that you are at your financial best, I'm going to give you my physical worst. Exactly. She waited him out. And she knew she knew exactly when to strike. She struck when she had no other, when she was done sowing her wild oats and are getting oats sold into her. Yeah. Huh. And then she's like, okay, I know this dude's been waiting for a while. Now it's time to cash in. Now and only now is it time to cash in.
You're talking about like a man making $250 or more, but she was able to find him. And it really shows the power of femininity. Okay. And I've always talked.
No, that shows the power of thirst. That shows the power of thirst. A 40+ church broad is getting with a dude that makes over $250K. That shows the power of thirst. Like back when he made $25K, they wasn't checking for him. And, they's like, oh, he's not thirsty enough. And then this is madness.
talked about that femininity is really a man's weakness. I mean, it is truly, how to get to him. It's truly through femininity. And again, I could talk about that in a whole nother video, but it is really a superpower when women have it. So the final thing she talked about was a man only having one love of his life. And again, I think that's a very romantic situation. I don't necessarily think that's an actual situation.
I agree.
Again, this goes back to who people are dating. I'm always talking about that because even men can date women based off of just their attractiveness alone, not really thinking about their personality or who they are on the inside. And because of that, he might end up dating women that can't take the weight of his heart. I will say this.
I do not care if a woman could take the weight of my heart. What in the hell is he talking about? This woman cannot take the weight of my heart. What the hell is that? I have no idea what this clown is talking about. When I meet Chloe Bailey, I'm not gonna ask her if she could take the weight of my heart. That's for damn sure. That is for damn sure. Go up to a modern woman and say, I'm looking for somebody that could take the weight of my heart. You're either gonna get laughed at or taken advantage of. Unbelievable. Where do they find guys? They be raising these guys. They are raised to be like, lamb pigs to the slaughter. Yeah, that is female talk. If a woman says something like that to me, I'm like, as long as it weighs less than your titties, like, what does that mean? That just sounds like some crap. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I know it's an analogy, but I mean, it's supposed to be abstract, not the actual weight, but I still don't know what it means.
Instinct-driven men.
Okay, so hold on. It says these guys don't understand what femininity is. They think it just means a woman's not cussing you out. Yeah, they just understand it as absence of a negative, absence of masculinity. And that's all she knows because she's just now learning femininity, in her 40s. So really, that's just what she knows. He got with novice femininity. He makes $250K, and he got with a novice femininity.
Men, which is the stereotype for men, which is the type of man that most women say that they're the most attracted to. Okay. Most instinct-driven men, okay, will only let you in their heart one time.
What?
I will say this is really important.
Listen, when a man is at his base instincts, I will only let you in my heart. I'm not, what? I'm letting this penis in your mouth. That's my instinct. What the hell are you talking about? Where do they find these dudes?
For women, and feminine women tend to do very good with this. Heart types, heart type, extremely feminine women tend to do very good with this. But thinking types and
wait a minute,
type women.
Holy crap. Holy crap. He has a category for bras like this: loving, kind, supportive, romantic, struggling with appearance. You're saying ugly bras with big hearts. I do not care about all the other crap if a chick is not hot. Because I know that they fake it. I know that they are trying to substitute. Any woman can be loving, kind, supportive, romantic if they so choose to. And it's only because she struggles with appearance that she's choosing not to. That's what that is. If you meet these if you meet an unattractive woman who just so happens to be loving, kind, supportive, romantic, she's not like that as a default. She's just like that because she's offering you something to supplement her homely looks. That's what she's doing. She's like, okay, this guy is more handsome than I am pretty, but I'll make up for it by being loving, kind, supportive, romantic. Which means that when she's in a company of a guy who is less handsome than she is pretty, she's not any of those things. Because she's not those things by construct of her personality. She's those things by necessity or supplementing her shortcomings. That's crap. I don't see a woman who's prettier than I am handsome and then all of a sudden pretend to be smart, to supplement for the fact that, she is significantly prettier than I am handsome. I don't do that. I'm smart all the damn time. Like,
don't generally do as well. Okay. But when you're dealing with a man's heart, okay, and he's instinct driven, and even if it's a woman and she's instinct driven, okay, you're only going to get a chance one time. And when you get that chance, it is going to be a beautiful experience. All right. But if you mess it up,
this dude actually thinks that men open up their hearts to women one time. The overwhelming majority of women that I have met in my lifetime, intimate or otherwise, very, 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 very few has like a glimpse of what's going on in my head, yet alone my heart. Very, very, very few. And to be perfectly honest, it really ain't much going on in the heart. Like, she would have to be there, like, when something traumatic happens. Like, I get a phone call, like, hey, a family member passed, then that's a glimpse. But it's really not, I don't really have like a bunch of emotional crap going on in my heart. And I'm not saying that as some sort of fake bravado. I truly don't. I truly don't. Like right now, I'm not thinking, what do heart niggas even think about? Like, I don't know. But whatever it is, it's not there. What the hell is he talking about?
The gate is going to be shut, it's going to be locked, and the likelihood that you get in to that heart again is extremely slim. It's not impossible.
And why are these bras trying to get into a heart? They need to get into his belly and his penis. That's what they need to try to figure out. Just stay away from my heart and get on these nuts. Like, what's gosh. I have no idea where they find people like this. Give me a sandwich.
But it's extremely slim because he at that point, the man in this particular scenario, he knows that you're not the type of person that knows how to take care of his heart. And see, feminine women, generally speaking, and like I say, when we use that term, we're generally talking about heart types on this channel.
Oh, man. This dude is way off. So I'm looking at this chart that he has here, and it's a pretty chart. It shows that he has some editing skills or some, I don't know, presentation skills. But there's a lot wrong with these. First of all, it really shouldn't be. It really, most all of this stuff is instinct. Like it's a woman's instinct to nurture, emotional stuff like that. These are all instincts, but I guess if you have a subcategory of heart, that's one thing. But the thinking part, being passive submissive, why would a thinker, a person who's primarily a thinker or classified as a thinker, would is submissive? They would defer to their own thoughts. Like, why analyze something if you're going to submit to someone else? So it's this chart is just all over the place. It's like he just found rules. Like the thinker would probably be one that's classified as disciplined, not instinct, because it's not an instinct to be disciplined. Because, in fact, discipline is what gets you out of your instinct. Like it's your instinct to stay asleep all day, but as a discipline, you wake up at 5 a.m. and work out. Like this chart is all over the place. Where did they find this guy?
Heart types generally take care of men's hearts, and they take care of them very well because they themselves are high emotion.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so he's saying that these are the needs that I thought that this was the list of personality traits that the person have, that a heart type woman have. But no, if he's saying that it's a woman's instinct to take care of a man's need for discipline, competitive, stable, protective, purpose driven. Okay, yes. I see that now. Okay, so all right, my bad, brother. Credit. This is actually a much more well thought out list than I initially anticipated. All right, so makes sense.
And so what they do is they cradle that heart, and then they cover it, okay, and then they basically move back and forth, taking care of the man's heart at all times. This is when you hear these stories about women always knowing what to do with their man who doesn't say much at all. Okay, you see it in romantic literature, you see it in movies and different things like that, because these are very feminine women who kind of understand, they watch and observe their man enough to know, okay, where his heart is, and they know that's not a place, okay, that they're ever going to cause hurt or pain. All right. But there are vengeful women out here, and vengeful can be any type. When they lash out at the heart of a man, or really, like I said, a vengeful man lashes out at the heart of a woman, and generally,
it's not vengeance. Vengeance implies that something was done to them to make them this way. They're just like that because they have an opportunity to gain. They have something to gain from being like that. It's not revenge. It's not even personal. Like, no one has to actually do something to a person. Like, if somebody was to steal somebody's car, it's not like they did it because their car was stolen and now they're trying to get revenge on another random person. No, they just did it because they wanted somebody else's car, or they wanted the money from selling somebody else's car. That's what that is. Stop giving them the credit of, because this is, once again, hold on. This once again goes into that thinking that if a man is bad, it's because he's a bad man. If a woman is bad, it's because a bad man made her into a bad woman. This goes into that thinking that we as men have to get out of.
like I said, when we're talking about instinct, people, when you lash out and you attack the heart, okay, that is when the person.
Okay, somebody said something I want to respond to. Somebody said they want the heart because it's easier to manipulate. It's easier to manipulate than the logical man. Absolutely. Or over the logical man. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is very difficult to manipulate a logical man, and men become more logical in time. Most of us do. So with time and experience. So, and women are starting to realize that in their 40s, when the dude is not, young, dumb, and full of cum, he's more logical in his dealings. So he's going to like step back and assess. Because remember, Kevin Samuels was divorced. I think he was divorced like 3 times. So it's harder for him to fall for the banana in the tailpipe again. It is. It's harder to seduce Kevin Samuels at, rest in peace, at his final stages of life, because, and he's a more eligible person. He was more eligible bachelor at that time. So, it's a lot more difficult, and women don't like that.
Says you're not mature enough, you're not strong enough, you're not smart enough, whatever it is, for me to let you back in my heart. It doesn't mean that they're going to divorce you. It doesn't mean that that, like I said, they're going to leave you or anything like that, which I think a lot of women would think that a man would do. But no, it just means he'll never be in
They think that a man would do that because they would do that.
love with you again. It doesn't mean he'll stop loving you. Okay, and a man that is basically being trained to be a protector provider, okay, he's going to take care of you. As long as you're doing what you need to do, he's going to take care of you. But that deep closeness that you get when somebody's in love, when you're just fully open, that deep intimacy is gone. It's gone. See, this is why I'm always saying, telling people, you should not ever try to hurt the other person. You should never try to hurt your person, ever. It's never okay to hurt them in any way. And I had to learn this as well, because this is one of the reasons why God says in the Bible, vengeance is the Lord's. He will repay, because God sees things that we don't see. And so you do not ever need to put revenge on your person. That is a no-no. You don't ever do that. You just have to let it go and recognize that God sees everything.
And that's where I'm talking about. He's preparing you for divorce. Like, I think you should just let it go. I think you should forgive. Vengeance is the Lord's. Holy crap. It's not a matter of revenge. It's a matter of justice. And justice is a function of man, right beneath the Lord. It is a man's duty and obligation to administer justice. That's why they had stonings for broads like that. That's where that came from. I mean, it wasn't God. Like, God didn't rain stones on these bitches. It was men throwing the stones, and women. Because that's justice. They have committed. I mean, okay. The death penalty, prisons and stuff exist for a reason. Like the Bible says, thou shalt not kill. And the law says, thou shalt not kill. Now, if it wasn't for the law, there would be some godless people out there just on a rampage. Like, what you gonna do? Yeah. Just wait for me to die, and then God will take care of the rest. That's the type of world you'll live in. If we held men in the same regard that you want to hold women in, then we would just have like a bunch of grapists, a bunch of deleters out there that goes unchecked because we're waiting on God to check them. And because of men like you, we have a woman who commits crime against manhood, who commits feminine crimes like adultery all the time, that are not held accountable because you feel that it's God's duty to hold them accountable. How come it's not God's duty to hold the murderer accountable? Men are bound by the laws of God and man. Women seem to be bound, according to you, by the laws of God. And that's okay.
everything. Okay. And he will repay in time, because God knows how to repay without hurting the person, getting the information in the person without hurting the person.
No, he don't. No, he don't. Every time he administered a lesson, including to his own son, there was a pain toll. There was a death toll. This man actually read the Bible and he says this crap. He sent his only son, his only begotten son, to earth to receive pain. God could get the message to people without any pain involved. What the hell did you do? Have you ever been nailed to a cross? I haven't, but I know that shit hurts. What in the entire fuck are you talking about? Have you ever been drowned? Like, what in the end? The Bible is full of pain. Have you ever been stoned? Like, it's full of pain. What the hell are you talking about?
But see, you can try to hurt them. And by trying to hurt them, you're thinking, oh, I'm justified and I got my revenge. But now you've lost the intimacy. Now your marriage is based.
If I want to get revenge on a bitch, the intimacy is already gone. The intimacy is already gone. If a man wants to get revenge on it, you think like, okay, now that I got my revenge, let's be intimate again. This dude's all over the place. Well, you know, if you get revenge, the intimacy is gone. I don't give a fuck. That's what revenge is. Like, for example, if a woman sleeps around on you and you go and get her sister pregnant, and he's like, well, you see, the intimacy is gone. I know. That's why I got her sister pregnant. What in the hell? And I named the baby after her. That's exactly why I did that.
Basically both of you just going through the motions. And you don't want that. And that's why you have to release it, let it go. Don't worry about it and allow God to handle it. Okay? Now, we all gonna hurt each other, but it's really important for you to, like I say, don't ever get vengeful. And if you find yourself getting to that point of vengeful, especially for the instinct-driven people, I would encourage you to actually see if you can separate for a while. And, you know, like I say, if this is really bothering you, you know, like heavy duty bothering you, see if you can separate for a while. Start asking friends and family if you can live with them or whatever you can do, you know, like stay in a hotel or whatever, to try to give yourself a little bit of a break. All right. Because you want to give yourself a break out here so that you don't break.
Fuck no. Listen, in the 90s, I had a telemarketing job. For those of you who was born this side of a black president, telemarketing, or this side of a cell phone, telemarketing is, and y'all got it because it says spam likely on the phone now. But before, people didn't have a choice but to answer the phone. So it was my job to call people and try to sell them products. And for that job, I got $11.78 per hour, and commissions if I sold enough stuff. I'm not going to say what I was selling, and I'm not proud of it, but that was my job. And there was a woman there. I'll never forget this. She had 2 sons. And she looked like trash, but maybe she had her day. She had a big money husband. This was a white woman. She had a big money husband, and she was sitting there making the same, $7 or $11.78 that us Negroes was making. And she, was talking to me one day, and she was telling me her story of, something with her sons. And I was like, dang, you got a son working here? Most of the people here are like college student age. And she was like, yeah, I got a son. I got two sons, and I have to pay child support. And I looked like, because at that time, this was before Holly Berry, I never seen a woman having to pay child support, yet alone a not wealthy woman. Somebody said it was probably like 50 in your time. It was closer to maybe like 21, 22, right about now. I'd say that. I was making decent money. Before that, I worked at Burger King, which was $4.25 an hour. And then every now and again, they raise it a quarter. And I think I topped out at $5 an hour. So I was happy to have that job. Anyway, where was I with the story? Oh, okay. So she had two sons, and she was paying child support. So I had to dig in this. I had to dig into what was going on here. I'm like, how you paying child support? You got two sons. And she said that, or how you paying child support? You're a woman. The only way I could think of that happening is the man made less than you and he got custody. So how they give custody to, because she wasn't young. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all that part. She wasn't young. She was in her, 40s, maybe even 50s. So I'm like, they awarded custody to a 50-year-old man making the same as a teenage Negro? Like, something is up here. So dug into her story, and what happened was she had custody. She was milking this dude. She was milking him like a Ninja Turtle. She was milking this dude for years. And then she got a boyfriend. And then when that boyfriend started to get abusive to those kids, then he got custody. Now she left the boyfriend, got her stuff together somewhat. She's working in the telemarketing with me, but she's working on getting her life together. And now, dude, even though he got big money, he got that Mercedes-Benz type money, he still was milking her child support off of $11.78. I was like, dude's a savage. He got his revenge. Dude is a savage. Because basically he couldn't even wipe his ass with her whole paycheck. So she's here struggling, paying child support on kids that she don't see, who's probably estranged from her because, they got their ass beat. They got their ass beat by her boyfriend, by a dude that she let in the house. So, and she making, what's that a month? Or what's that a week? Let's see, times 4. So she making about like $500 a week. And if she gets some commission, and he like, oh, you making $500 a week? Give me 2, bitch. Like, come on now, you tip the waitress $200. When you go to a nice restaurant, you damn straight. I don't need your money. I want it, bitch. I want you to stay broke, bitch. I see you trying to get your life back together after fucking with an abusive nigga. I don't care, bitch. You gonna give me my money. I don't care if it's snowing, bitch. You better be hoeing. Give me my money. He got revenge. More power to him. I never met the man. More power to him. He got his motherfucking revenge. This dude saying we shouldn't do that. Fuck that.
The marriage. All right. So anyway, I hope this helped. And please like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the very next.
Holy crap, he got a video called Victorious Vaginas. Holy crap. He got a video called Victorious Vaginas. And he wears glasses. Everything about, you're a horrible human being, sir. and you wear glasses. What the fuck? Of course, I'm going to click into this video just to get a gist of what's going on. Somebody said most sales jobs sucks. Hell yeah. I remember I had to sell cable, and I'm thinking like, this is a decent cable package, you know, like HBO, Cinemax, and stuff like that. Before a person could just, you know, do it, you call them and do that. But what happened was the places that we sold it to were really old people. Because I'm like, you know, who don't want HBO? Who don't want Showtime? Who don't want Cinemax? Is Cinemax still a channel? I don't even think they had stars back then, but y'all get the gist of it. I'm like, you know, it was like $15 a month, and we had to tell them that it's 50 cents a day. It's just like that was our sales pitch. It's like it's just 50 cents a day. So I was doing that for a bit, and I thought when they told me, I was like, oh man, I could sell that. You know, 50 cents a day, and they get Showtime, and you know, I was like, yeah, this would be easy. But everybody that they had me call was like 65 plus. And they didn't care about Showtime or nothing like that. I'm going to tell you, they watched baseball, they watched Westerns, they watched the Game Show Network, and they watched the Weather Channel. And I didn't even know that people watched the Weather Channel, but they actually sit there and watch what the weather is instead of looking outside the damn window. I still don't watch the Weather Channel. So, yeah. And I'm trying to get them to, you know, to get a cable package so they could watch Sex in the City or something. So yeah, sales jobs do suck.
Welcome back to the channel. You see the information on the
He got the same shirt on
screen, so you know what I'm about. So let's get into it. So yesterday I was making a video, and during that video, you know, I remember the power of femininity. And I had done a couple of videos about this way.
Yeah, he admits that it was yesterday, and he had the same damn shirt on.
Way long time ago. But, you know, I hadn't done one recently. And I just thought, wow, I should probably go back and rehash that and talk about.
I don't know what you're talking about here. Weather Channel is great for your autism. I don't think autism is something that comes with age. I think that's something that people are born with. I think it's like a gene or something. I think you might mean like Alzheimer's or whatever. Unless you're saying I'm autistic, and I'm not. Yeah. You explain that one to me. I'm curious. Or maybe you meant Alzheimer's.
About how awesome femininity really is to the woman that has mastered it. Now, if you've been hanging out on my channel, you know I talk about 3 distinct personalities, right? So the very first one is the instinct type.
Ah, damn it.
And with the instinct type, you're basically dealing, you know, through almost.
If you're looking to
intelligent, but they can also get caught in their head. And they're also fiercely loyal.
I said watching Weather Channel all day is probably some sort of autism. Maybe. Good point. I don't know why it affected a certain age group, because those people would be in their 90s now if they're alive. You know, so and they would probably still be watching the Weather Channel. Like, I mean, my grandma don't watch the Weather Channel. I'm trying to think if I know of an old black person or people that really just watch it like that. But yeah, maybe there's a correlation. That's something to look into. Yeah.
And then the final type is, you know, also a row, right? So we put the heart types up.
Damn
it. We masculinity in the middle into more. talk about femininity, I need to talk a little bit about masculinity.
All right.
Okay. And that'll let you all know why femininity is truly the superpower that can tame masculinity. And I know for a lot of women,
Why does it need to be tamed?
Now, like, okay, how does this happen? All right. So it's simple.
Why does it need to be tamed? Masculinity should not need to be tamed. It needs to be directed and honed and sharpened.
In order for a man to become
by another man, by the way. Pause, no homo. I'm talking about like in the sense of like a father.
More instinct driven, i.e. more masculine in our world, what he has to do is he has to cut his emotions off. The more emotional he is, okay, the more difficult it is for him to make hard decisions. Because see, a decision is hard because you're concerned about it. Because you're concerned about all the different things and all the different ways and all the people it can affect. Okay. And see, that's what causes thinkers to kind of get stuck because they're trying to go down every single avenue to try to figure out, okay, what is the best scenario? But it also makes them very smart because they've actually spent time thinking about all of these things, right? But when you're instinct driven, you are action driven. So you have to figure it out. And like I used to say to people all the time, most instinct driven people are the type of people, not all of them, but many of them, you could literally, they'll get an idea and it is the equivalent of them.
Hey, hurry up. Shut the fuck up. Hurry up and get to the title. Man.
When you look at most, like I say, movies, when you're dealing with like a captain, you're dealing with a heavy duty instinct driven man or right. So when boys are little, and there's been a lot of controversy over the last years, and I've been saying for a while, I wish that, a lot of these people, especially in the educational system and the government, would stay out of the average person's business. I'm just being honest. I really think a lot of our problems today stem from the government and the educational system trying to step in. But generally speaking, like I said, when you are a boy growing up, and most of the, men that are watching right now probably remember this, especially if they had a good dad at home and they might have been 3 years old and they might have failed and they might have hurt themselves. And then before the mom could come in and grab them, dad said, "Boy, get up. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Walk it off. And you better not cry. Better not cry." So what ends up happening is that the boys learn that showing emotion will not help them. In fact, it
won't help them. That father is preparing that boy for manhood. It won't help them. Fuck is wrong with you?
Get them more punishment than actually trying to ignore their emotion. And so as boys get older, this gets preached more and more. When you're in boys sports, it gets preached more and more. You can't be emotional. Okay. You have to forget that. We got another play to go. We got another 15 minutes on the clock.
God
Somebody's
dang.
best friend might have just got shot. Don't matter. I'm not saying that they don't. Okay. But that is that leaning into masculinity. So there's a healthy balance of being in control of your emotions without your emotions in control of you, without you suppressing them too much, without you having them too much on the surface. And so that healthy balance is really a difficult thing for men to manage. And that's why so many people are talking about it now. But what we see almost in every situation is that as people move toward deep instinct energy, i.e. masculine energy, there's always this situation where their emotions are now covered and buried and put in basically a safe and locked away, right? So on the opposite side, you have the heart types, all right? And if anybody can be exactly opposite of the instinct type, it is the heart type.
God damn!
Emotion. After emotion is they want to, experience
Motherfucker. When you put vaginas in the title, talk about vaginas. Fuck is your problem? We halfway through and he just talking, he's just, the heart volt and the emotions and the suppression and blah blah blah. If you don't say pussy anytime soon, nigga, gosh, give me a headache. 8 minutes and 19 seconds into a 15-minute video.
Things because they always, and when I've talked about heart types, I've said they're one Achilles, okay, or when they're sad or something like that.
Finally.
But again, this video is not about that. So how these people have,
oh my God, you 9 minutes into a 15-minute video, you 3/5 of the way in talking about, yeah, but the video is not about that.
have strength over the instinct types? And the answer is pretty simple. Remember, your instinct type man
Holy
has
shit.
buried his heart.
God.
This
is why I don't go to church. This is why I don't go to church, because of niggas like this. Dudes that talk about the passage before reading it. I know why they do that, because church is supposed to be like a certain amount of time. Somebody say, he is in his feminine energy. Talk forever, never saying anything. Exactly. When I talk to bitches like this on the phone, I put the phone down, I go do shit, and then I come back and they still talking. Like, I don't want to hear this shit.
His heart is wounded. It's in a lot of pain. Okay, he's never been able to fully express it. He's never been able to live and have that fully fulfilled. So
I could promise you ain't shit in most men's heart vault. It ain't shit in most of our heart vaults. And this isn't like my upbringing telling me this shit. There's really nothing there. I can't think of shit that's in my heart that I vaulted, like, And yo, I miss my Uncle Charles, y'all. Like, yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, the first thing that come in my head is a song from Bone Thugs, and it's somebody else's Uncle Charles. The fuck is he talking about?
now you have this woman, generally speaking, who is really far over in this feminine energy, and all she's filled with is emotion. And so now she comes into this instinct driven man's life, and what she does is she's able, because she has so much emotion, it's like she's lighting up his life, and she's able to navigate and find his heart. And if she's a smart woman, she finds it, she nurtures it, she loves it back to.
She could find my dick. What in the hell? Listen. Open up your heart to a bitch and see what happens. See what happens. Like, why would a feminine woman want to see your feminine side? When she associates that with her own behavior, and she's not a lesbian. Like, why would she? What the hell?
Its full brightness, right? And by doing that, it gives her this direct path into him. And she's able to do for him more than any other woman could do. And she's able to do it because she is so romantic, because she is so emotional, because she's experiencing things. She's living a part of life that he could never experience.
Okay, when a masculine man appreciates a feminine woman, it doesn't mean that, you know, he appreciates her for bringing out the feminine shit in him. Just like he shouldn't be out trying to probe her, looking for aggression, or trying to bring out masculinity in her. She shouldn't be doing the same shit. And if you let her and you do that, you're going to be it's not going to end the way that you think it is. I know a chick, you know, who left a nigga for crying because he thought it was a good idea to just express his feminine fucking energy. Don't be stupid, fellas. Men are men, women are women. And it's as simple as that. There isn't a bunch of charts and diagrams. You don't have to figure out the square root of something in order to understand this shit. You don't. And women, if a guy tells you that the best way to get to a man is by probing him till you find a bitch in him, and then nurturing that bitch and letting it out of its vault, then he does not know what the fuck he's talking about. If you do, fuck him and see what happens. Like, holy shit. This is unbelievable.
Experience that he could never fulfill on his own, if this makes sense. It's like if both of them watch a sad movie, the feminine woman might be crying at the end. The man might want to cry, but he can't really cry.
I'm gonna tell y'all a story. About a sad movie that I watched with a chick when I was just a little nigger. I was a teenager. I wasn't even like an adult teenager either. I was a teenager. I was in high school. And maybe high school, maybe even junior high. So I guess one of the saddest movies ever was, at least at the time, was Forrest Gump. I was with a girl I was seeing. I met her at a dentist's office. And watching a movie, and I was thinking like, damn, her sister is sexy. I hope she grow up to look like that. You know, not to say she wasn't sexy, but she was like, you know, she hadn't 100% came into her body. Like the sister was a grown woman. So I'm watching a movie, and the scene from Forrest Gump where the kids hit him on the head with a rock, and then Jenny said, "Run, Forrest, run." And then all you could hear after that was clack, 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 because he had the braces on. I was cracking the fuck up. I was dying. I mean, I was on the floor in her house just cracking up. I could not stop. I thought, because when you laugh, you breathe out air, but you're not taking in air. So like I would have died, but I kept doing like a I kept doing that because it was just to get more air, just to laugh some more. He said, "Run, Forrest," and it was like clack, 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 clack. I was dying. I was on the floor dying. And then by the time I got finished, and I had tears. I had tears in my eyes. It was so funny to me. And by the time I was finished laughing, I looked up. And then it was that famous scene when Tom Hanks said, from then on, if there was anywhere I needed to go, I was running. And then I was cracking up some more. That was hilarious. But I guess, according to him, I should have been crying. Now she was upset. She was upset because her mother worked with the mentally challenged. But I didn't know that. And even if I did, I still nothing would have stopped me from laughing at that moment. But niggas like this would actually be crying. They would actually have been crying, like, oh, the boy got hit with a rock. Oh, see what that would have got you. See what that would have got you.
Still buried, his heart is still buried under all this stuff. But through his wife, because remember, the two become one, right? So you got two, and then they become one. So now through his wife, he's able to experience that emotion through her.
Holy crap.
Because she's a part of him. Does this starting to make sense now?
No, it don't.
So it allows him to become complete. And it allows her in some ways to become complete because her emotions and worried about every little thing, now he can cover that and he can take care of it. Because another problem that a lot of heart types, get themselves involved in is they don't know how to say no to people because they love people so much that they always want to help them and do things for them and stuff like that. Where instinct.
I don't know if he's much older than me, but I know this nigga gotta go. That's weird. My mom got a bunch of plants in her house. Yeah, you probably do. I remember one time, this white dude, he just started busting out because I was with a chick in Home Depot, and we was, surely enough, picking out plants, right? Because she stayed with me. So I'm indifferent. If chick want plants and I don't care one way or another. But I picked out a plant. I was like, oh, that one look cool. She said, that's an outdoor plant. I said, I plant it where the fuck I want to. And the white dude just started cracking up. He was just cracking the fuck up. But because I didn't know the nature of plants. I didn't know that, it has to be outside, like if it's an outdoor plant. So
driven person comes in, instinct driven man.
And we was in an apartment, so I didn't have like a flower bed or a place to put an outside plant.
He comes in and he's like, no, you're not going to do this with my wife. No, you're not going to do that. No. And through that, the heart woman is free because all of those emotional ties are actually tying her down. And so he has to come in and he snips them from her.
What is he talking about?
He allows, her.
I'm be honest. Y'all tell me, because I wasn't listening to the last 30 seconds. I was still thinking about that scene from Forrest Gump. Like,
to be free. And this is how that feminine woman can come in and be so powerful in this man's life. Now, there's other really great things about being feminine. Don't get me wrong. Okay. And I think a lot of people have talked about that. But I think people forget the fact that the heart of men, especially instinct-driven men, is in a certain state. And that state has to be, taken care of a certain way. Now, thinking-based people, I don't want you all to feel left out because, like I say, you are actually the most common person out here, but you're also the most sought after. As crazy as it sounds, you're the most sought after. And the reason why you're the most sought after is because you tend to be very well-rounded. Because you're in the middle, you generally have a little bit of everything. So most people get along with you. And most people generally like you. And it's just about the combination of the things that you're carrying that allows you to go down one road or another.
It is, bitch, but that's what it is. That's why I'm tuning them out, and that's why I keep fast forwarding because that's what it is. He sound like Kamala. This dude is just talking like, yeah, that's what it is. All right, let me get out of this. This is some foolishness. He titled it Victorious Vagina. And then everything is about, your heart self and your heart vault and all kind of strange shit. Where do they find these niggas? I swear. Where do they find them? All right. So here we go. Let me put the brother into the super chat, into the matrix. Yeah, it's only so much that I could take. I don't know if he was going somewhere with it, but that's just some foolishness. It really is. All right, let's do that right there. All right. Thanks for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. Red Pill Sleeper Cell. Somebody says this nigga look like a church choir director. Yeah. I mean, he's one of those, like, he's the deacon of something or other. This man created his own horoscope. Yeah, Sedge Scorpio. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it sounds. You're right. He do sound like a Zodiac bitch. That's exactly what he sounds like. One of these pseudoscience people. That's exactly what the fuck he sounds like. Sounds like he kicks it with Agatha. That's holy shit. Yeah. Yeah. All right, it says, see, this is the type of shit people do when they can't understand real science. They make up shit like this. They want the heart because it's, yeah, I said that one, yeah. Preparing you to be a eunuch, a powerless man. Exactly. Exactly. There's some murders that are justified in the Bible. I don't doubt it. I mean, they murdered their own savior. So, yeah. Well, I mean, he was subject to contemporary law. It's teaching the masculine to be slave to the feminine Jezebel energy. Yeah, that's what he's doing. I'm not going to read that passage, but that's what he's doing. Absolutely. I once heard my dad say, if she's gone through a lot, she'll be easier to control. I don't know about that. And this isn't because I personally deal with that type, or this is well, it's part from my own personal experience, but for two, it's really large looks. I have friends who were a real true PIMP. And I look at the women that they dealt with, and I knew I couldn't deal with that crap. These are guys that are very, very, very adept at handling baggage, extraordinary baggage that I don't want to deal with. Yeah. Yeah. Like some women been through some stuff, and I guess they're thinking like you, JB, and they're thinking that I would get turned on by hearing about the awful crap that is their life, or was their past, or was their childhood. But I just stay away because I don't want them type of problems. Unless she's, because it's a sign of craziness. Now, if she's extraordinarily sexy, and she's sexy enough to where I'm willing to put up with the amount of baggage that they'll say, then, hey, all thrusters forward. But if she's not, then it's like, okay, I'm not dealing with this crap. And I guess, a real true PIMP is somebody who said, I'll deal with this if you pay me. And that's their job, to deal with their baggage. I know it seems like it seems easy, but there is a reason why they say it ain't easy. That, and it deals with sales, which, Hood Conservative already brought out that sales is very difficult, and it is. especially if you're selling yourself. So yeah. All right, it says she'll be easier to control. I just look at them. These old heads are so misguided. I see what you're saying. That breaks down after a certain level. Once again, if she has more baggage than, for example, and she looked to me like I am supposed to do something about it. Like this one chick, her sister was on drugs, and her sister was enthralled with a guy who is a true PIMP, but not the type that my friends are. He uses drugs to control her, but more importantly, he deals in A minors, and she had two of them. So she's complaining to me about the plight of her nieces and nephew. And I'm like, bitch, I just met you. Why in the hell are you putting this on my plate? I do not want anything to do with, hey, call the cops. I don't listen. I do not have that type of crap going on in my life. And I know now that by dealing with you, I will have that type. No, fuck that. So some people see a woman's problems as an opportunity. It depends. Case by case basis. Yeah, exactly. He was just talking. He was just babbling from Babylon. That's why I got a divorce. This slave teaching for men. I can't even listen to this weak ass shit. My God, don't represent this. Exactly. I think that during the summer of '97, after high school graduation, I hated it. Oh, you did that? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it paid more than the burgers. Paid more than flipping them burgers. Okay, it says we were selling so-called rate reduction to people who had small businesses with multiple lines. Yeah. Yes. I mean, telemarketing was just what people did back then, and it was not easy. All right, autism. He looked like he lost in his divorce, but refused to be bitter. Exactly. You see, feminism is women refusing to play by the rules. But the Christian church, we're still playing by the rules. They are playing outside the rules, and we're still trying to play with a group of people who are not playing by the rules and open up your heart to them. None of that word salad word without a daddy. Yeah. Never get married. You'll pay them to divorce you. That's what he's doing. And he said he gladly did it because we're supposed to provide. No. What about what they're supposed to do? Weather Channel is better than CNN and Fox. Yeah. Except when they play the weather. You can't tell me if a major storm is coming by sticking your head out the window. I lost the context. I can't believe a man of Christ clickbaited with the vag and didn't even talk about it. Like, what the hell? I can tell by this speech patterns he mostly interacts with women. Yeah, I mean, he's a church dude. Of course, that dudes aren't going to church because it's full of opportunistic women and guys that are pandering to those opportunistic women. Those women are looking for church men to prey upon, not prey on, to prey upon. They hit you with the line like, Yes, I used to sin. I used to be a sinner and I got the 5 kids to prove it. But I'm a saved woman now. I'm a woman of Christ. I'm a woman of the Lord. I'm a woman of the Lord. I want to be saved. So to be 5 women after that one dude that's that fits the bill, that still follows the old rules. But your ass didn't follow the old rules, or else your virgin ass would have been married off at 14. So you didn't follow the old rules, but you're expecting this dude to follow the old rules. And they all after the few dudes that are foolish enough to do that crap. He's in his feminine nature, talk forever and never say anything. Yeah, no, that was annoying. This is the type of dude that will oh, and by the way, like, a dude could cash in at church. The bishop don't be look worth a damn because they only do that when they about to hit the wall or they already have. That's when they want to go to church. But I mean, a dude could cash in at church, but you'd have to listen to shit like this. You'd have to listen to a nigga like this. This is the type of dude that will let a female talk for hours and tries to cut in by saying, let's have some, what's that? Conversation. Oh, conversation. Okay, I see you playing on words. Okay, it says 45 times. Exactly. Cleveland is in the house. You know about like that show? He's communicating to men like they're women. Exactly. He feels that, in every man there's a locked up bitch. And once you get that bitch out, these category of women will appreciate that the bitch in you. What the fuck? He's got that gay feminine. Oh, I'm not gonna. Yeah, get out of there. Oh yeah. He doesn't look that old. How old is? I don't know. Listen, okay. As I said in the beginning, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I give it to you fresh. I give it to you fresh from now on. I'm not doing the thing where I schedule a show like a day in advance. I see something. I listen to like 5 minutes of this video. I'm like, okay, let me share this with the people because this dude is out of control. So I don't know how old he is. You're only allowed to cry when the horse died in a never-ending story. Oh man. It was kind of funny how he died. Like he didn't have an expression. He didn't struggle. He just had like that look on his face. He's just missed. Yeah. Church choir director. Okay, I seen that. It says this man. Yeah. Okay. So let me see. Bro, we need a stream on how black men / black people are extremely susceptible to falling for pseudoscience and similar esoteric bullshit. I don't know if we're more prone to it than other groups of people, are we? That is a discussion, but I don't know if we are. Acceptance of being powerless rather than willing to fight. There's a loose connection. I think that you're specifically referring to the Hotep community. Correct me if I'm wrong. There is a higher concentration of that thinking there. I think that a lot of that is cope for a sense of helplessness and a shameful history, and that's their coping mechanism. But as far as I know, like for the most part, like Zodiac bitches are, I consider them to be very bright, but they're pretty harmless. I was saying, get out of there. All right, so yeah, I'm past 2 hours. I'm gonna close down. It says, yeah, I'm talking Hotep CC. Yeah. I made several videos about Hoteps because I had very bad run-ins with Hoteps in the past. You know, I want to do right by Black people, particularly Black kids, but once Hoteps get in charge of anything, a narrative, it turns to crap real quick. So yeah, let me get out of here. All right, so thanks again to Red Pill Sleeper Cell. Let me check on this. All right, but anyway, I'd like to thank everybody that contributed and participated. I'd like to thank the members, managers, and moderators, those who are listening silently, and those who participate in the chat. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. This is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.